Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and today we have something a little bit different. I'm not usually big on terrain, but I saw this piece from Cast and Play with their Adventurers Guild set that they released, and I could not resist myself. So they put out a cool looking quest board. As somebody who spent way too much time in the early 2000s playing MMORPGs of various kinds, usually the free-to-play ones, because I'm a cheapskate when it comes to that kind of stuff, I could not resist printing out this quest board. I thought this thing was so much fun. It's going to be a major task having to get everything painted, but I think it's going to be a fun one, and it doesn't want to stand on its own. So it's actually a couple of parts. We have some of these little sideboards like so. I'm going to have to figure out where those go exactly, and then we have another piece right here that's going to attach on to the end of that second horn hanging off the top. There is actually another batch of quest notifications that I believe was supposedly hanging off of this originally, but the contact point was so tiny it just popped right off. I'm going to get it all glued together, and while I'm at it, I think I'm going to go ahead and get some of the actual Adventurers Guild members printed up to show you guys as well. There's some really fun stuff in there. They even had a giant fighter, which was kind of cool. I haven't gotten to him yet. Or the actual guild stuff. If you have a printer capable of churning out terrain, there's some really fun stuff there. But let me show you what this finished quest board looks like, and we'll show you some of the guild members themselves. Sit tight. Okay, our questing board is all set here. We've got the nice little platform to set it on, and you can see we've glued the extra little attachments here. They can stay in focus. So we see we have a little mini notice board here and another one in the back. At least that's what it looked like from the renders. And then we have the actual board itself, which just plops right in the middle of that. Of course, having it on there is going to limit the amount of space to have other models standing around nearby. So something to consider and be aware of. I'm not sure which side is the front, which is the back, but I don't think it's going to make a huge difference either way. It's going to be, well, maybe it will. Let's try it this way. See if that stands any better there. Obviously, in the end, I'm going to go ahead and glue it. All right, that seems stable for the moment. And the only issue there is going to be, as I said, the amount of space that characters are going to be able to have interacting with it. So I went ahead and started printing some of the other models that were available in this set. Here is the Madame. Did I show her already? I don't remember. I don't think I did, but I broke her little cigarette that she is holding. But I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. So you can see her standing there next to it just for size and scale. I'm going to set this down for the moment just because it's so big. And it works pretty well like that anyway. Otherwise, you have a nice little, public square platform to have everybody meet at in the town center. We'll set this right over here in the back of the video. And maybe we'll do that. That works. That way we can show off some of the other models that came from this set. Cast and Play has always had some really nice, fun, characterful sculpts, and their Adventurers Guild is no different. Here we have the Bartender. That is supposed to be hair in his face, but that underneath there on his chin is absolutely a support that did not get taken off. We'll have to fix that. I've got him currently on a 30mm base. I'm sure you can go smaller if you want. Speaking of small, I really liked this paladin they had. Very evocative. His sword is going to need to get probably reshaped and heated up, but that's okay. Now, I have him on a 20mm circle, so there's a little bit of wiggle room in terms of what size base you're going to be able to fit these on. Now, our Innkeeper Bartender guy is pretty much in scale with a typical human model. As exemplified by our usual witch hunter friend. Or with a Reaper, current Reaper human. I know it is a female, but should give us a good idea of what size figure we're looking at. Now, if you were going to use something like Frostgrave or something like that, that might be a little bit smaller. But then there's also quite a few bigger models that were in this set, including a giant. I did not get to the giant yet. I'm quite tempted to, but what I really liked about this set's figures was the guild leader. This guy is such a ridiculously cool looking heroic type. Use him as a barbarian, use him as a guild leader, use him as a warrior, use him as a half giant, use him as some kind of, bandit warlord. This guy could work for a whole lot, but he's just absolutely massive. Look how big he is compared to those humans. Maybe he's got some Goliath blood in him. I don't know. Speaking of Goliaths, we also have the Dragonborn Dragon Man Barbarian, which is right up my alley. And this guy is just as massive as the guild leader. Now, there were also a bunch of other adventurers and guild members that were part of this release. And with all of the various sales, bundles, and deals, and throwback models that Cast and Play often includes in their various tribes and Patreons, there's a good chance you can get these guys for a reasonable price after the run of their month is up, which, if I remember correctly, already has happened. So there's a good chance these will show up either in their store or online in one of their re-releases, bundles, or specials. And I have him on a 30 millimeter base. Nope, that's 32. Sorry, Innkeeper's on a 30. Bartender, dude. Big guys are on 32s. You could probably put them on 40s, and I don't think that they would really feel all that out of place, especially if he had it nice and sculpted up. He's already standing on a rock anyways. Even removing all that, he's still going to be pretty tall, but I think the leader is definitely going to take the cake there. We can have him hanging out, surveying his guild. So a fun little set of figures and scenery from Cast and Play, as always. And definitely, if you dig their fun, cartoony, colorful, very Warcrafty vibe, take a look at their models. They got some really cool stuff. They always have, and I'm hoping that they always will. We'll have a link to their stuff down below, as always, and hopefully you guys have a chance to check it out. With that said, though, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.